What's up, everyone? And today I'm finally bringing my deck profile on my invoked Numerons. Now before I get into it, I just want to mention, one thing I want to talk about on the Numeron Invoked deck. It has a lot of free space. I think I have like 14 hand traps or something like that. So let's get right into it. I run the 3 Neuron Wall. Now, Numeron Wall is kind of like a hand trap. If you control no monsters except Numeron Walls, you can send this card from your hand or field to the grave and activate one Neuron Network directly from your hand or deck. It also has a secondary effect when you take battle damage, but that's not really important. But this essentially sets up your Numeron plays to get... Essentially, if you have this, you're guaranteed a Utopic Zexal. Yeah, the Numeron cards are really good. Now onto the Invoked engine. Yeah, Numeron monsters only have Numeron Wall is the only Numeron monster that's not an extra deck. Also run 3 Alistair, the Invoker. Sorry, I got some, I think it's Italian Alistair because they were cheaper. Maybe once the tournaments start back up, I'll get myself another place that are in English or something like that, but that's probably not going to happen for a while. Now, it has 2 separate effects. The first one is it lets you, one of your fugitive monsters can attack. That's irrelevant. But when this card is normal summon or flip face up, you can have 1 invocation from your deck to your hand. So this is definitely kind of like the key starter of your invoked plays, just like Numeron Wall is the starter of your Numeron plays. Now for the hand traps, and I run a lot. I run 3 Ash Blossom, as well as 3 Effect Failure. I got a Platinum Rare. I actually kind of like the Platinum. I like the Platinum Rare. 3 DD Crow, 2 Nibiru, and 2 Ghost Ogre. Now, you can change this lineup for other cards because I just had a lot of free space. So I just threw in DD Crow because I don't really have much else to throw in. I would probably either switch out the Ghost Ogre or the DD Crows for maybe a 3rd copy of Nibiru or a 3rd copy of another card that I don't have, but because I only have 2 of. But you can change this lineup around however you want. Now onto the spells. I play 3 Magical Meltdown, along with the 3 Invocation. Magical Meltdown is kind of what allows you to search your Alistar, and also prevents cards and effects from being activated when you fusion a monster. Kind of like a Super Poly effect on that. And Invocation allows you to fusion summon from your extra deck using monsters from your hand, or banish monsters from yours or your opponent's graveyard. And if this card's in the graveyard, you can target one of your banished Alistair, add Alistair back to the hand, and shuffle this back into the deck. So it can even recur itself. Invocation, just the whole invoked engine is very powerful. And I was finally able to get it. Maybe I can also do like a Shadal invoked deck profile, because now I can do that. Next, I run 3 Neuron Network and 2 Neuron Calling. These cards are busted. Neuron Network essentially becomes Neuron Calling by taking its effect, which Neuron Calling effect is, if Neuron Network is in your field zone and you control no monsters, special summon up to 4 Neuron Gate XYZ monsters with different names from your extra deck. Yeah, That's very powerful. And this Neuron Network, Neuron XYZ monsters you control can activate their effects without detaching materials. So these are all... It's just broken, in my opinion. So essentially what you do is you summon the 4 XZ monsters and go into Utopic Zexal. While sadly, you can only normal special summon once more for the rest of the turn after using this. If you got Utopic Zexal on the field, does it really matter? Next, I run 3 Called by the Grave because you don't want to get hand trapped. I also run 1 Monster Reborn because it's Monster Reborn. 1 Set Rotation. 1 Terraforming. And 1 Upstart Goblin. That rounds up the spells. Next for the traps, I run 2 Infinite Permanents. I'd probably play a third one of these, maybe take out like a DD Crow or Ghost Ogre. But I only have 2 copies, so right now I'm only running 2, but definitely max this out. And lastly, I run 1 Metaverse. Kind of help me get to the field spells if I need to. Now moving on to the extra deck. First off, I run 2 number 1 Numeron Gate Ekin, 2 number 2 Numeron Gate Divi, I don't know how it's pronounced, 2 number 3 Gate Trini, 1 number 4 Gate Kadvari, and 1 Numeron C Neuron KS Gate Senya. Now, the 1 through 4 has 2 uses. The first off is through the field spell, and then go into Utopic Zexal. Or, if you're on second, you can use these to clear your board, or even OTK, because essentially what they do is, let's say, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. So one thing you can do with this is this one can double all these ones attacks, then this one can double these 2 attacks, this one can double that one attack. So eventually you're left with like a 8,000 attack beat stick. Or, you know, you can just do that. And yeah, you run 1 Utopic Zexal. Actually, I saw a deck profile on this where they didn't run Utopic Zexal. I don't know why, considering how powerful this card is. If you don't know what this card does, essentially, during your opponent's turn, your opponent cannot activate cards and effects. Yeah, it just shuts down your opponent's turn. While it is hard to get out normally because it requires 3 number XYZ monsters with the same rank, which is very difficult, but with Numerons, that's very easy. I also run 1 True King of All Calamities. No real reason other than I had an extra space in my extra deck in. If I get 2 Mechaba on the field, I can go into True King of All Calamities, so why not? Speaking of Invoked Mechaba, 2 Invoked Mechaba, and 1 Purgatrio. That's basically all I run for the Invoked Extra monsters. Originally I had Kaliga in here, but then I realized that just hurts me too. So I just went down to these 3. Yep, that's going to be all for this video. Once again, leave a comment voting on which deck you want me to do for this month. And at the end of the month, I'll pick a deck and do a deck profile on it. So, I'll see you in the next video I make. Bye.